Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Satarasata Shishimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Asatarasata Shishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kuri Vaishnava Ki Jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kahu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sarikora Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Nama Ki Jai, Madhura Nama Ki Jai, Navadi Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Nidai Gora Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. All glories to the Assembly, glories, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembly, glories, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembly, glories, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Prai, Krishna Vishtai Bhutri, Shmari Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurabani Mirachari Nani Vishesha Shunamani Bhachati Dishtai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. So today is the Rasa Yatra festival. It's the end of the month of Kartik. So during the month of Kartik, devotees were holding different vows, performing extra devotional service. So today is the final day of this special month. any devotional service performed in this month is multiplied by 1,000 times. And one who performs that devotional service in the temple of Vishnu, his service is multiplied extra 1,000 times. And this special day, Rasa Yatra day, is also very auspicious, and is very nice that you have come, all of you. And it is a great fortune at the same time. So this pastime of Krishna is difficult to understand for the mundane mind. And the main difficulty is that it resembles the loving affairs in the material world between men and women. So there are many fools who think that Krishna is lusty, that Krishna is conditioned by material nature, and they do not study the Krishna Tattva from the Shastra. That's why this pastime is described in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is expected from the reader, from the student of Krishna consciousness, to first of all go through all the previous 9 cantos to understand the transcendental nature of Krishna, to understand that he is the supreme controller, that he cannot be controlled by anyone. Krishna is great, just like they say God is great. So the Srimad Bhagavatam describes in minute detail how great Krishna is, how he creates this material manifestation, how he enters the material worlds in the form of his expansions, how he's unaffected by material nature, how his devotees are also unaffected by the laws of material nature, by the low qualities of lust, greed, anger, and so on and so on. And of course, Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita also. Before we study the Srimad Bhagavatam, we should study the Bhagavad Gita, where he similarly explains about his transcendental nature. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvata tyaktva deham puna janmana iti mameti so Arjuna. Krishna says, the one who understands about my janma, about my birth, and about my karma. Karma also means activities. So this Krishna Lila, the activities of Krishna are also karma. But not karma with consequences as we performed, but it is the activity that gives Krishna transcendental pleasure. So that transcendental pleasure is not like our so-called reflection, shadow pleasure. It is unending and full of knowledge and the real pleasure, transcendental pleasure. So I'm going to read on this occasion from this book here, the biography of Srila Prabhupada that we have compiled with the devotees. And this is a book that contains everything, all the topics, because Srila Prabhupada is a devotee of Krishna. He is always thinking of Krishna, always preaching about Krishna. So naturally, if we glorifying Srila Prabhupada, then automatically Krishna will be involved. And because Krishna is complete, then the pastimes of a pure devotee are also complete. You'll be surprised, but even this book contains the information about Kim Kardashian. Yes. If you don't believe me, you can check here. Kim Kardashian, there's a photograph of her offering flowers to the deity of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. You can pass it on. So this is the wonder of a pure devotee, that he can attract all kinds of people from all walks of life. We only see externally, oh, this is such a person, such nationality, such gender. We think in these limited categories. Many times people are asking, oh, is this Hinduism? They think that Krishna or God is Indian. They're so foolish. So in order to understand this pastime of Rasa Yatra, Rasa Leela that Krishna performs, we have to become free from all these bodily considerations, bodily conceptions of life. Because all these pastimes are enacted on pure platform, purified platform, untinged by the modes of material nature. For the last couple of days, we've been studying about the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. We've been analyzing their various effects and symptoms. So that is for a reason. So we understand what is conditioned and what is liberated activity. Especially when we come to Krishna, we must be very careful, because as soon as we think that Krishna is conditioned like we are, then we will not understand any of his teachings. Sri Upanishad explains the nature of God. Om Purnam Adaha Purnamidan Purnat Purnadurachiti Purnasya Purnamaraya Purnamevavashishate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is complete and perfect. He is complete. Even this material energy that we're dealing with every day, that is his energy. Mama Maya. Krishna says Mama Maya. It is my Maya. If you are angry, oh, Maya is distracting me. Be sure to remember that this Maya belongs to Krishna also. So everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. So when Krishna wants to enjoy, it is not like us. We want to enjoy because we are lacking. The man is lacking a woman is lacking a man, the child is lacking parent, the boss is lacking an employee is missing a boss. Relative world. So Krishna is not relative. Krishna is the Param Tattva, the supreme absolute truth. All the relative truths, everything that we experience in this world and everything that is beyond our experience is found in him. So although he expands himself unlimitedly through his energies and potencies, he remains complete balance. This is the mystery about Krishna. When we do something, we extend some energy, we spend some energy, then we're tired. But Krishna, he can expand so much energy, unlimited energy, just like the sun. Krishna is sometimes compared to the sun. The sun is generating so much light for so many millions of years. And still the potency of the sun does not diminish. Right? It's not that tomorrow you're going to look at the sun, it's a little smaller. It's running out. It's constantly generating the sunshine. So Krishna is also like that. He's generating bliss. Krishna, the word Krishna, the name Krishna means the reservoir of unlimited pleasure. Isn't that a beautiful definition of God? The unlimited reservoir of pleasure, of ecstasy. Even if you don't believe in God, no one can deny that everybody wants to go to the source of all ecstasy, of all pleasure. So, in that sense, we are all Krishna conscious or Krishna seeking. Some of the people, they have an impersonal understanding of God. They think God cannot be a person, because they think of a person from their own point of view. I'm a limited person. My desires are keeping me bound. Right? The more desires I have, the more I become dependent, and the more I become enslaved. So we think, oh, God, he is supremely free. How can he be a person with desires like me? That is why we have to understand Krishna from the Shastra as tattva, as the truth. Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, Manusyanam sasreshu kachidyatadi siddhaya yadadamapi siddhanam kachiman veti tattvataha. There are many people who try for spiritual life, but hardly one knows Krishna in truth. That is not so easy. So this understanding is hidden in the heart of a pure devotee, the spiritual master. And out of his causeless mercy, he's giving us this knowledge about Krishna. He can reveal Krishna to us if we submissively hear and we give up this idea that, oh, I can understand everything by my limited mind. That we have to give up this pride. So I'm going to read one chapter here that is related to this day, indirectly, but also directly, depends on how you take it. And a major portion of this chapter is taken from the Rasa Lila chapter in Krishna book that we usually read. Okay, so okay, let's do the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhaktivedanta Thakur subdues the false Vishnu. Unusual and uncommon activities by the controller can never be imitated. Shukadeva Goswami warned that the conditioned followers were not actually in control, should never even imagine imitating the uncommon activities of the controller. A Mayavadi philosopher may falsely claim to be God or Krishna, but he cannot actually act like Krishna. He can persuade his followers to falsely imitate Rasa dance, but he is unable to lift Govardhan Hill. There were many examples in the past of Mayavadi rascals deluding their followers by posing themselves as Krishna in order to enjoy Rasa Lila, and people were so foolish that they sent their wives and daughters to perform Rasa Lila with such rascals. Fortunately, in many instances, they were checked by the government, arrested and punished. A similar Rasa Lila was going on while Bhaktivedanta Thakur was a magistrate. A person in Orissa declared himself to be Vishnu, and he was enticing young women and girls in the village to dance at night. Some of them, however, protested, and they lodged a complaint to the government. Since the government commissioner knew Bhaktivedanta Thakur, at that time known as Kedaranath Datta, to be a very elevated religious man, and since Bhaktivedanta Thakur was a magistrate, he entrusted the inquiry to him. Bhaktivedanta Thakur took up the task and went to inquire about the matter in that particular village, accompanied by a few constables in plain dress. When he arrived at the spot, the false pretender, due to his yogic powers, immediately said, "Your name is Kedaranath Datta. I know you're a very good man. Don't be after me, otherwise you will not be happy. Do not disturb my activities, and I shall elevate you to become the king of this country." If an ordinary person would have been addressed in this way, he would be immediately puzzled, wonder how this man could have guessed his name and occupation and not do anything against him out of fear. But Bhaktivedanta Thakur was a very strong devotee and said, "Thank you for your offer to become a king. But why don't you go to Jagannath Puri and stay there? It is a nice pilgrimage site where you can stay. Many holy men go there to see Lord Jagannath. Why are you in this village?" Bhaktivedanta Thakur wanted to drive the so-called yogi away from the village, but the pretender responded, "Jagannath is just wood. I am the real Vishnu." When Bhaktivedanta Thakur heard this and realized what kind of rascal he was dealing with, he became like fire and immediately ordered the constables to arrest the man. But the man showed a fiery spark coming out from his hair, so the constables hesitated to arrest him. However, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was adamant. Immediately arrest him and put him in handcuffs. And in this way the man was arrested. But as soon as Bhaktivinoda Thakur returned home, all the members of his family were attacked by a high degree fever. Indeed, even Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself was in fever. This was due to a yogic trick made by the pretender. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's wife began to cry, "You have arrested a great yogi. This yogi is Vishnu himself, and therefore we are now going to die." But Bhaktivinoda Thakur replied, "Yes, you die, and let all my family die. Still, what I have done was all right." The date of the trial came, and the yogi was brought into the courtroom. Although Bhaktivinoda Thakur was still suffering from a fever, he nevertheless attended the court and asked the constables to cut the yogi's hair. There's a picture of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in court. I don't know if you can see. You can maybe check later on. But since they all knew that after arresting the yogi, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his whole family were suffering from a fever, no one wanted to do it. Bhaktivinoda therefore decided, "All right, bring some scissors. I shall cut it myself." When the hair was cut, the yogi immediately became very thin. This was an indication that he had some power in his hair. Bhaktivinoda Thakur then ordered 6 months imprisonment. In the prison, the yogi managed to kill himself by taking some poison. He knew that after coming out of the jail, he would not be able to do his business. He was finished. So he decided to die. This incident proves that devotees are very strong and that they can understand what is what. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not bewildered by the yogi's false Vishnu imitation. Furthermore, we should learn from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's treatment of the yogi in this case that mystic jugglery or so-called power are not favorable for advancement in spiritual life. One is to follow the regulative principles as enjoined in the Shastra. Ya Shastra Vidim Usarajya. If one does not follow the injunctions of the Shastra, it will never be possible for him to attain perfection. Therefore, one should accept a bona fide spiritual master and follow the rules and regulations under his guidance. Then his advancement is assured, and there is no doubt about it. However, if one becomes hodgepodge, mixes with hodgepodge, and does hodgepodge, he cannot make any progress. Krishna clearly says, Ya Shastra Vidhi Mustarajya Vartati Kama Karataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Nasukam Naparam Gatim. But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. Therefore one should try as far as possible to follow the Vaidhi Bhakti, devotional service according to the regulative principles, as it is enunciated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion, by the Goswamis. One should be sincere and hard-working, then success is sure. We should not be bewildered and misled by the so-called incarnations. The so-called avatars are simply rascals. Om Agyantirinandasya Jnana Jana Shalakayam Chakshunan Meritanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So again, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur with the bogus yogi. This is the forest where the false incarnation was doing his so-called Rasa Leela. This was painted by some British person. And this is the jail where the false Vishnu was imprisoned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, so this actually happened. These are not some stories. Okay, so yes, this Rasa Leela, the Rasa dance, is a dance when many girls, they dance around one man, if I'm not mistaken. Rasa dance. So Krishna performed this Rasa dance when he manifested himself here in the material world, when he performed his pastimes here. And the reason why Krishna manifested these pastimes with the gopis was to attract us to the spiritual world. See, these loving affairs between men and women are the most attractive subject matter in the material world. If you see all the movies, all the songs everywhere, advertisement, this is the attraction. Everybody wants to love. So Krishna, he comes here and he gives us a little sample of the spiritual world, so we know that actually the real love is there. Here in this world, we're simply imitating, and we're getting disappointed. If you water the root of a tree, automatically all the branches and leaves are nourished. But if you try to water the different branches separately, the tree dries out. That's not the process. So the real love is through Krishna. Everything through Krishna. Just like the water goes through the root in a tree. Similarly, all the love must be through Krishna. We are parts and parcels of Krishna. Mamavam Jiva Bhuta Jiva Loki Sanatana. Krishna says, these living entities are my eternal fragmental parts and parcels. So, if we love Krishna, then we not only love ourselves, because we are tiny parts and parcels of Krishna, but we love all living entities, not just in this universe, but in all the universes that emanate from the body of Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu. All the living entities, without any exception. This is real love. So long our love is limited. I love myself, and that's why I love my wife, because she's related to my body. And I love my children, because they also related to my body. And I love my country, because my body appeared in this country. That's not real love. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur calls it extended selfishness. Although it appears as love, it is nothing but extension of our selfishness. Why do I love my wife? Because my wife gives me sense gratification. That's why I love her. And as soon as the wife does not give me sense gratification, there's divorce. Oh, I don't love you anymore. See, this is cheating. The real love is eternal. See, even if the husband and wife somehow find some harmonious relationship, the death separates them. It is not possible to have real love in this material world. But if we love Krishna, then even if we die, our loving relationship continues. We will take it up in our next life, or we are promoted to the spiritual world. So this is the reason why Krishna manifests these pastimes. There are other reasons, but this is one of the most important, because otherwise it appears contradictory. Why, if the sex life, if these romantic things and so on are the root cause of our material attachment, the root cause of samsara, the root cause of all suffering, why does Krishna manifest these pastimes? This can be quite bewildering for us. So this is the reason, to attract us to the real love. It is not that we should give up feelings, loving, and romance and all these things. No, this is natural. We're seeking these things. But we are only seeking the shadow. Just like if I give you food, I serve you a plate, I say, no, you don't touch. You can eat the shadow. You will not be very pleased. So similarly, these are all shadows. If you look at your body, it's going to deteriorate. In our youth, the body is very beautiful, very fresh, full of energy, very nice, attractive. But then the time factor is applied. And the old people, nobody wants, some old guy comes here. We feel like, huh? So that's because this material body is simply a shadow reflection. Why are we attracted to that body? Because we have a memory of the eternal form in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, all bodies are eternal. All bodies are eternal. That's what we want. That's why we don't want to age. We have this ideal somewhere in our subconscious. We want to preserve our youth forever. Youth is the ideal of beauty. Why? Why are we not attracted to an old, wrinkled body? Why not? Why are we attracted to the youthful body? Because we have a memory of the eternal form in the spiritual world. This is the explanation. And Krishna is manifesting this pastime along with the explanation of the greatest Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, so we can enter that spiritual world and enjoy with Krishna the real love, real loving relationship. So, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur is a spiritual master in our sampradaya, in our disciplic succession. He was not a monk, he was a worldly man, or I should say he was involved with the worldly matters, but at the same time he was unattached. He was unattached. And he gave so many wonderful literatures establishing Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy as prominent when it was in the hands of people like this yogi who would simply take advantage of the Shastra and misdirect people in similar ways. So there's a class of so-called devotees, Prakrita Sajias. They only focus on these pastimes, Rasa Leela. They don't care for Bhagavad Gita. They don't care for the 9th cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. And they attract foolish people who are lusty, who are not willing to give up sense gratification to achieve spiritual perfection. So they capture them and they take them to hell with their misconceptions and misinterpretations. That's why we should be very cautious. It's not that the devotee simply looks like a devotee. We must also hear what he says. We must compare what he says is in accordance with the teachings of the Shastra and the Acharyas. We should not be blind. Sometimes these so-called devotees, they shed tears. That can be very impressive if we're new. We see some devotees chanting Hare Krishna, then he starts crying like this. So if we knew, we'd like, oh my God, he's really feeling for Krishna, he really loves Krishna. But the genuine devotee, just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you can see his expression when he sees such a rascal, he is not fooled. He immediately can see through it. This guy wants to get attention. Instead of pointing out at Krishna, he's pointing at himself. I am important, look. So always remember, genuine devotees on such elevated stages of Krishna consciousness, even if they cry for Krishna, they will hide it. They will, they will suppress the symptoms of ecstasy. Because they don't want to bewilder the new devotees. New devotees, they will imitate. And then it's going to be simply by crying. Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful metaphor, analogy. He says that by their tears they have washed out the conclusions of the Shastra, these cheap sajias. It's a very nice analogy. So if you see someone crying or dancing like, he was in ecstasy, like falling on the floor and pretending to be, fainted or something like that. Because there are actually genuine descriptions of bhava, ecstasy. Even in this small pamphlet on chanting Hare Krishna, Prabhupada mentions these 8 symptoms. Faltering of the voice, hair standing on end, fainting, perspiration, so these are genuine symptoms of very elevated stages of Krishna consciousness. So these cheap people, they try to imitate and they try to make an impression on neophyte devotees or people, general public who are not familiar with the Shastra deeply. So always remember this. And these pastimes, Rasa Lila, Radharani, Gopis, loving pastimes, Srila Prabhupada gives all the information that we need. If you study his books, you will get all the conclusions, all the higher topics that you need, and the rest will be revealed to you automatically by the process of sadhana bhakti, vaidhi bhakti. If you chant your 16 rounds, if you read the Shastra regularly, if you do Sankirtan, if you preach Krishna consciousness, that is very important. If you want to purify your heart from all the anarthas, it is very important that we share Krishna consciousness with others. We should not keep the diamonds of Gaudiya, Vaishnava, Siddhanta locked up. This is not Krishna consciousness, the keeping locked up. That is again selfishness. No, Vaishnava, he shares. He is very eager because he sees how people live, how miserably they live. So he's eager to relieve them from distress. That is a real symptom of Vaishnava. He wants to see everyone happy. He is not satisfied with his own happiness. Para dukkha dukhi. That means that the Vaishnava is feeling sadness, seeing others sad, being sad. So by Sankirtan, by chanting, by following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, slowly we can come to the platform of purity of the heart. Chetodarpanamajanam, all the anarthas, they'll be purified. And then these pastimes and conclusions connected to these pastimes will automatically manifest in your heart. So don't rush into these pastimes. Okay, so any questions? Was it understandable, clear, or anybody would like some clarification on any of the points?
Question.
Yes?
The Rasa Lila is not meant to be heard by neophyte devotees, like it's not meant to be like indulged in.
Yeah.
Why is it so easily available? Like, anyone can just pick up Prabhupada's books and just read Rasa Lila as many times as they like.
Yeah.
And so if it's so dangerous for neophyte devotees, then why is it available?
There is an analogy of the mango being carried from the higher branch, through the various acharyas to the parampara, from the top of the tree to the bottom, to the ground. Like if the mango drops from the highest position on the tree, it's going to break down. It's going to splash on the floor like this. So the mango has to be, carefully passed down from the highest branch, slowly up until the ground, where the last acharya, he receives the mango, the fruit of the Siddhanta. So if it's in the hands of that acharya, then it is not dangerous. He knows how to administer this medicine, because this Rasa Lila pastimes, these teachings, they actually cure the lusty desires in the heart. If you fully understand all these Siddhanta's conclusions related to the Rasa Lila, your lusty desires will be vanquished. You see? So the spiritual master is like a physician. He knows how to give the right dosage. He knows how to administer proper diet for you, like this. So any topic that is carried by the Acharya is safe. He knows how to administer the medicine. So if you're guided by the Acharya, Srila Prabhupada is that Acharya, then you can read anything you like. And Srila Prabhupada also says, don't focus on this. He gives, the teachings are there, everything is there. But first of all, follow the regulative principles. Srila Prabhupada says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the spiritual master gives many instructions, but out of all the instructions to chant the prescribed number of rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the most important. So, if you study Srila Prabhupada's instructions, that is very clear, and you will never be misguided. So it's carefully handled by the Acharya. Now, if you want to go beyond what Srila Prabhupada has given, then that is a risky business. That is another story. So this is the advantage of being under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. I mean, many devotees don't realize how important it is. They think, Prabhupada is just one of many gurus. I can have this guru, that guru, this, according to my convenience. And ultimately, I don't accept any guru. How is it saying? Jack of the spades, master of none?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master.
Jack of all trades, master of none, right? Yes. Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I want to ask, Krishna, did he disappear in the middle of Rasa Leela?
Yes.
Can you tell more?
Yes, that is the highest ecstasy, the mood of Vipralamba. You have heard this before? Vipralamba? Vipralamba means the feelings of separation, love of Krishna in separation. When the lovers are separated, they constantly think of each other. It is the feeling is higher than in actual meeting. So, because Krishna wants to put his devotees into the highest ecstasy, he disappears. And when he disappears, the gopis, they feel so much feeling for him, so much anxiety. Where is Krishna? Lord Chaitanya also is coming in this mood of separation. He's teaching us this highest rasa of separation, Vipralamba. So, materially speaking, as I said before, we're always lacking. Right? There's always lacking. I need this, I need that, always missing. So it's a torture for us. But in the spiritual world, when Krishna disappears, he's actually giving us more rasa, more feeling. See, in the spiritual world, everything is about feelings. There's everything. You have everything. There's no bodily necessity. You don't have a material body. You don't have to die. You don't have to eat. You don't have to sleep. None of these things. So then, all that is discussed, all that is going on in the spiritual world is rasa. Simply feelings. So sometimes, in the loving relationships, Krishna plays like this. He disappears. And then the gopis, where is Krishna? You follow?
Yes.
So this to increase their devotion. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada also. We're serving Srila Prabhupada in the mood of separation. Srila Prabhupada also disappeared from our preaching Rasa Leela here with us. So we feel more ecstasy in separation of Srila Prabhupada, serving him in separation.
Also another question.
Yes?
So, spiritual body, I don't understand what does it mean?
Spiritual body means the complete opposite of this body you have right now. This body is asat, achit, nir-ananda. It is temporary. You're going to get old, you're going to die. It is full of ignorance, Right? You don't know what is going on in your body, what is going on in your stomach, how the blood is circulated. You have no idea. And it is nirananda, full of misery. Even when we're happy, what is happiness? Material happiness means simply absence of suffering. Just like you're hungry. Hungry is suffering. Suffering. And then you eat. So then you're no longer hungry. It's an absence of suffering. But there's no positive. So in the spiritual world, we can enjoy the positive spiritual pleasure. And that can only be perceived in the spiritual body. So that body is already there in your heart in a seed form. And when you become, perfect in your Krishna consciousness, that spiritual body manifests like a zip file. A zip file? It just, unpacks. It's like a seed. When you put a seed in the ground, slowly it grows and grows. So you have received a seed of that spiritual perfection from Srila Prabhupada. Now, by chanting and by hearing, coming, serving, you're watering the seed. You're watering the seed of your spiritual body. And in the ultimate perfection, it will fully manifest. And this material body, it will shed away, you will get rid of it. And that spiritual body, you go back home, back to Godhead, and you dance with Krishna.
Okay.
Yes?
I have two questions. I hope I'm not trying to enter the mind of the acharyas or the hers, but just because we hear that the pastimes of Krishna, they are in the heart of the acharyas. So I'm just wondering if all the pastimes are always manifested, or if they have different, like for maybe sometimes they are attracted to Krishna, to certain of Krishna's pastimes, and if it's like always changing, or if they are simply always enjoying one pastime according to their liking, or
The acharyas, pure devotees?
yes.
Yeah, there's an unlimited variety. Just think of how many varieties are here in this material world. Right? Varieties of relationships, varieties of enjoyments, varieties of sense gratification. So if this is the shadow reflection, you can only imagine what kind of enjoyment is there with Krishna. Yeah, his pastimes are unlimited. I heard that, because Lord Brahma has 4 heads here in our universe. The Srimad Bhagavatam has only so many pastimes or so many cantos. But in the other universes where Lord Brahma has more heads, and the Bhagavatam is longer, and the pastimes are more. So we only have pea-like brains, and we are trying to understand. Yeah, Krishna is unlimited.
And is there, because is the Rasa dance happening now specifically?
Yes.
In a more,
It's like a Rolling Stones tour. And the Rolling Stones, they go on a tour. They go every city. So Krishna also has a tour. He's touring all over the universes. So when he winds up the Leela here, he appears in some other universe, and he begins the Leela there. And then he wraps up there, and then he goes to another universe. And this goes constantly. While he's in the spiritual world simultaneously. Yeah. So yes, it is going on right now somewhere. Actually, Prabhupada mentions that those gopis, there are 2 types of gopis. One type is Nitya Siddhas, who come with him. And there are other gopis who are sadhana siddhas. And these are sadhakas who have achieved perfection, and they're transferred to that universe where the Rasa Lila or Lila, Krishna Lila is taking place right now. And there they get trained. Before they go to the original Goloka Vrindavan, they practice here in Boma Lila. This is stated in the Krishna book. So if you become a Mahabhagavat, then your first stop is you go there, where Krishna is right now. And that's where you will see Krishna for the first time. You ready? Any other question?
I just have one more question.
Yes.
Because Krishna is also performing all his pastimes in Vrindavan now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I just want to clarify.
In the Vrindavan in India here?
Yes.
Yes. Nitya Lila, that is going on. Those who have the eyes, they can see. Those who are blind, those who are looking for, sense gratification, they cannot see. Yes. Any other question?
Krishna was also, gopis were there, and each of the gopis thought that Krishna is there with them. Can you explain more? Each of them thought that they are
Mm-hmm.
Krishna.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful element in that pastime. When Krishna was dancing with the gopis, he expanded himself. So every gopi thought that, oh, Krishna is with me. This is Krishna's Yoga Maya potency. Krishna is so kind that all the gopis, they thought that, oh, Krishna is with me. So he can do that. He also expands himself when he marries 16,108 wives. He expands himself so every wife has a physical association with Krishna. So during the Rasa Lila, there's Krishna also. And this is also similar to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. Srila Prabhupada also expands himself for every disciple individually. So you feel like he's talking to you, and only to you, through his books or lectures. Devotees, they had this experience. I had this experience. So I became so captivated. Because when I read the Bhagavad Gita the first time, I was like, my God, this book is talking to me. What is this? I read so many books, Nietzsche and this, and I don't know, so many books. But this was the special thing about Bhagavad Gita. So that sort of ability or phenomenon we can also experience in our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. He's not God, Srila Prabhupada is not Krishna, but because he's a devotee of Krishna, some of these transcendental phenomenons can also be observed in that sense.
There's a question here
Yes?
from Ali.
Eli, Hare Krishna.
Does the Maha Mantra have different effects on different individuals, on neophyte devotees compared to others, for example? And if so, why, if its power is deemed as intrinsic?
Yeah, because it's not a machine. The Maha Mantra is Krishna himself. That's why we say Harinam Prabhu. The Maha Mantra is a person, believe it or not. So, along with chanting, there are some offenses we should avoid. It's just like when you invite some guest and then you neglect that guest, you don't pay any attention to that guest, then it's not very nice. So when we invite Krishna, when we chant his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, we should pay attention to the sound vibration. If we do not pay attention, then the effect is less. The Maha Mantra will not do it for us. Just like in a relationship, a loving relationship. The girl must do her duty towards the boy. And the boy also must do his. It's not that simply the boy has to do all the work and the girl is simply, inactive. the girl also must show her love. That is love. It's a relationship. So Krishna is giving us himself through the Maha Mantra. Now we must surrender to Krishna. It is reciprocal. Okay? It's not like a material thing that I take some LSD or I push some button and automatically I become ecstatic. Okay. Any other question? When was the offering made?
Offering I think is already made.
In 5 minutes. Okay, yes?
Yeah, I have a question. What is it like for when we chant Hare Krishna, is energy of Krishna or Krishna engage me or devotional service. So what kind of service are we praying for on a neophyte platform?
Pure devotional service. We're asking for pure service.
What does it mean?
That you render that service and expect nothing in return. That is real love. You simply want to please Krishna. There is no expectation of any sort of return, reward, even reciprocation. Aslishapada, what is it? The last shloka of Shikshastakam. You can make me broken-hearted by being not present before me. Still, you're my worshipful Lord unconditionally. That is a definition of pure devotional service.
How do how should a neophyte devotee? Because someone might think, oh, I don't have this, or I'm covered with material desires, or so that.
You don't have to have. That's the whole idea. You should get rid of it. Whatever you have, whatever motives you have, get rid of it.
How does one get rid of motives? It seems difficult.
Well, we have to analyze, how these things are simply harming us in due course. These temporary pleasures, they entice us for the time being, but then they create more misery. So we should be intelligent. It's a question of intelligence. Why should I fall for Maya's tricks? Maya is constantly trying to divert us from the eternal duty and involve us in these temporary complexities. So we must be fixed on Krishna and not be fooled, and be analytical and self-reflective. Analyze. That's why, Krishna gives a whole chapter, the 3 modes of material nature. He's explaining how this material world works, how Maya captures us. He explains about karma, jnana, dhyana, all these. These are all impurities. Prabhupada calls them infections. When the infections of karma and jnana disappear, then one becomes situated on the Madhyamadikari platform or higher, like that.
So someone might then say, let's say that by karma, somehow or other, then maybe not intelligent enough, or someone don't have the capacity
To understand?
to understand. So how is then devotional service like?
Tesam satatam yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam buddhi yogam dadamitam yena mamupayantite. Krishna says that those who serve me with love and devotion, I give them the intelligence. So even if you don't understand, somehow or other, we all have some propensity for work. We have some special talent. So kindly use that talent in Krishna's service. If you're a musician, then sing for Krishna. If you're a nice dancer, like our Maya, then you can dance for Krishna. If you're a great decorator, then you can serve Krishna like that. If you're a great eater, then you can eat prasadam.
Right.
All right. Unless you have any other questions.
Yes, Ellie is a question.
Ellie, okay, yes.
Yes. And also ginger snap before that.
Mhm.
So, why do the ginger snap is asking, why do the threefold miseries of life constantly give me trouble?
Not only you. Everyone. Everyone is suffering. You might be seeing, oh, these young people, they enjoy, but they're going to suffer. The more they enjoy in their youth, the more they suffer in their old age. Everybody is suffering, not only you. See, this is our problem. We only think of ourselves. Everybody is suffering. Krishna says, Dukkalayam ashashvatam. This world is temporary and full of miseries. But there is happiness. It's not that everything is just negative. There is happiness. Outside of the material world, outside of the jailhouse, outside of the jurisdiction of the modes of material nature. And if you chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you can have a tangible experience of this transcendental pleasure. But you have to work on it. You have to be consistent and you have to be patient. Yes, well, everybody is suffering, but the devotee is taking the medicine to get out of this cycle of suffering. So that is intelligence. Because you're a devotee, your miseries will end ultimately. Whereas the others, okay, they might enjoy for the time being, but then the misery comes again. So just stick to your Krishna consciousness.
Yes, one more question. If you have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
From Ali. Can enthusiastic preaching cross into imposing one's beliefs onto others, or is this our duty to help others listen and understand the message?
Yes. Enthusiastic preaching means enforcing?
Yeah. She's asking, can enthusiastic preaching cross into imposing one's beliefs onto others?
Yeah, if the belief is good, why there should be a problem with it? And then we should impose. For example, you go to some restaurant and you taste something very, very delicious. So naturally, you want your friends to also go and have that same pleasure of the tongue. So you tell them, you must come with me to this restaurant. Right? People say like that. You must come with me. You must. And you take that person by hand and you drag them to the restaurant. And you feed them. And when you feed them, they go like this. Wow, you were right. You see, so imposing is not necessarily bad. If the thing is good, then we should impose. This is good. The child doesn't want to go to school. The father must impose. He must go to school. Go. The child doesn't understand. It's for his benefit. So people don't understand. They think Krishna consciousness does nothing for me. Why are you forcing me? Why are you pushing me? So that is the mercy of the devotees. It is not that devotees enjoy forcing someone, imposing. But they're trying their best because they know it's good. Just think about it, People, they take so many drugs and they never question. Here's LSD. Oh, what LSD? Okay. And they pop it in their mouth and they trip. Or ganja, they smoke ganja just because friends they give them. They never question anything, they blindly take it. But drugs, everybody knows, is very bad. They'll put you down like anything. And this Krishna consciousness, when you see the devotees, how happy they are, smiling, enjoying nice lifestyle. So why not try it? We don't say that you must try it or you impose, but why not? Why don't you do it? That is our humble request. It's our proposition. It's up to you to take it or not take it. We never interfere with someone's free will. You cannot. Because ultimately Krishna consciousness means to love Krishna. It's impossible to impose love on someone. That is not love. It must come from within. But we know that everybody, as I said in the beginning, everybody is looking for Krishna. Because everybody is looking for the source of all happiness, of all pleasure. So directly or indirectly, everybody is Krishna conscious. Our duty is to simply direct them. So that relationship with Krishna and that transcendental pleasure, ecstasy becomes crystallized. Crystallized. That is the duty of the devotees. Not that we impose it. It cannot be imposed.
So I might then so say that, okay, but in my experience with dealing with devotees, they did an entire thing, try prasadam, try this and try chanting and and read these books and that. But when I said, now you go to my church, and then they said no, Or like when I invited them to do my, some yoga or whatever, then so it's not exactly like, exchange of, like I like something, you like something, so let's share. It's more like.
No, it is exchange. As I said before, if you have something, some talent, you can serve Krishna with that talent. It is exchange. Krishna wants your love, and Krishna gives you his love. He's already giving you. Krishna is giving you food. Krishna is giving air. Krishna is giving sunshine. You cannot manufacture in a laboratory sunshine or air or food. None of these things. So Krishna is already giving. He's not waiting for your surrender. He's giving. He's unconditional in his love. So you also be unconditional.
Sure, but someone, the point is that someone might say, oh, but
That someone is a rascal. Someone, and he's, if he's unreasonable, then what can be done? You must be reasonable. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna Vristaya Uti Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Samari Namaste Saraswati Guruvani Vrachadi Namaste Shri Shri Shri
TikTok or